What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to another Friday live stream on the Rain in Real Time channel. This is Freestyle Friday. As you know, this is the last Friday of the month. So every last Friday of the month, I open up my panel for anybody to come up if they would like to speak what's on their mind about various topics and things of that nature. But before we actually get started, I need everybody to go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Also, make sure that you go ahead and share this stream if you have not done so already as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to Gnome King being the first person here. I'm going to go ahead and go onto my page and share this as well onto my social media accounts and let the people know we are live. What's going on, Tildor? You said I'm here. I'm just going to listen while I'm at work. Appreciate it. Joseph Washington, salute to you. Tildor said it's 92 degrees in Florida, 100% humidity. It's 88 currently where I'm at. I wasn't really outside like that today. I pretty much just chilled today. But all in all, I hope everybody had a good week, though. I know I did. What's going on, Amara and Letitia? As you know, I always like to let the first 10 minutes just kind of flow a little bit before I actually get started. Now I'm gonna do this Freestyle Friday a little bit different, mainly because of how I'm starting it off. Because I have a few things I do want to talk about that I didn't want to put into the form of a pre-recorded video because that's adding more on to what I've already did. And by the way, I am so backed up on videos. Like I don't know how many videos I recorded in the last week. I lost count. And usually I don't even count the videos. I just go ahead and record them. But I recorded so many videos last week. As a matter of this week, as a matter of fact, that video that I uploaded yesterday about Simone Biles, if I had uploaded the videos in the order that I recorded them, that video would not have gotten uploaded until like next week. That's how backed up I am with content, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let's see who we have in here. Maximus, Royalty, Akira, Jennifer, Blacklight, Angie, Brother Sly. What's going on? What is going on? If you haven't done so already, make sure you go ahead and you hit that like button and you share the stream. But yeah, there is a couple of things that I wanted to talk about before I actually open up before I drop the link in the chat and open it up to the people who would like to come up and speak. Because, if I do that before I talk about this, then I may not get to those particular topics. There's only three things that I want to talk about before I actually drop the link. And hopefully I can get through them within the first hour, and then I'll let the last hour just let people talk about whatever it is they want to discuss. What's going on? Senior 34, J.R. Jackson, Mark Stewart, Spidey 2. What's going on? Hope everybody's having a good day. Or everybody had a good week. Amara said, am I going to talk about... That's one of my videos. That's one of the videos that's backed up. Like I told you, I have so many videos. If I had to guess, I recorded probably no less than 20 videos last week. Like I was going in, like content, like stuff kept happening. A lot of stuff kept happening last week. I keep saying last week. This week, I don't know what it was about this week that so much stuff was going on. What's going on, Pinky, JYB? Got about 4 more minutes before we get started. Like I said, there's only three things I really wanted to talk about before I drop the link and let people come up if they so choose to come up. What's going on, Sunlight? Mark Stewart said, Mammy Amanda Seals is at again with the. I already know. I'm well aware of that. And I'm not surprised. And the movie actually looks pretty decent too. Like I actually plan on going to see it. So we got 23 people in this chat and 21 likes. Let's get the likes up. Double O Seven Spidey says respect is out in 2 weeks. Yeah, I do plan on seeing that as well. That's the only biopic of Aretha Franklin that I'll accept. Not that other one that other chick did. You said you want to see the movie about the school shooters. I'm not aware of that one. Got about 2 more minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Sunlight said, respect and King Richard might be the only reason for going to the movies in 2021. Yeah, both movies do look really good though. And I like stories like those. The King Richard one's definitely going to hit different though, because like it's a out of nowhere type of film that you wish that you had, that you're glad that you're going to get, I should say. Okay, it is officially 4:10, so now we are going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, usually I would drop the link now. People want to come up, but I wanted to talk about three things right quick before we actually go ahead and get started. The first thing I wanted to address, or well, I might as well say thing, because I don't declare this person to be a human being, not after what they said or have been saying, and that's Charlie Kirk. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen right quick, and some of you probably have already seen or heard the filth that came out of this thing's mouth. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and let you listen to, if you have not done so already, the absolute trash that spilled out of his mouth when it came to talking about Simone Biles. And he got just as many likes as dislikes on his videos. And I'm gonna go ahead and give him another one right there. There you go. So it says Charlie Kirk. Hold on, let me hide this right quick. Charlie Kirk takes down selfish Simone Biles after disgraceful Olympic decision, or so he thinks. And I made sure to put on Twitter the other day after hearing this. I said Charlie Kirk is a bitch, and I wouldn't piss on his ass if he was on fire. What's going on, Donna C? But I'm gonna one thing I need to do is I need to go into my live stream account, which is the one you're on right now, and make y'all some mods. I'm gonna probably do that after the stream, or I might do it on the next stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and y'all be able to hear it.
So Simone Biles, I don't know her politics. I don't. I just know that she's, shown on television a lot. I don't know if she was ever sexually assaulted or abused. So I don't know what she's been through. I seriously, I mean that sincerely.
Now let's start off right there. This guy already came out the left field swinging in the wrong direction. He says, "I don't know much about her. I've seen just a little bit of her. I don't They said allegedly she was sexually assaulted. I'm not entirely sure." So this guy already had an opinion on her before he even knew what she was like all about or what was going on with her. But he already had an opinion.
However, I'm going to say this. Don't show up to the Olympics and compete if you're not ready for the big moments. This is not high school. This is not college. This is the Olympics. It's bigger than yourself, Simone. So Simone Biles, who's obviously a very talented gymnast.
Then listen to how he said that. I always say pay attention to tone. He already started off on the wrong foot and is now on the other foot and still wrong. And he said, so Simone Biles, who's obviously a talented gymnast, like listen to how he said that. It was very standoffish. Who's obviously a talented gymnast. It probably hurt his mouth and his throat to even say those words.
Decided not to compete in the gold medal competition. Now, she probably could have just competed and just kind of checked the boxes and they would have got a gold medal. Simone Biles says, this Olympic Games, I wanted to be for myself when I came in, and I felt like I was still doing it for other people, as she cried after the team event on Tuesday. So that just, it like hurts my heart because doing what I love has been kind of taken away from me to please other people. Yeah, that's the point, Simone Biles. You're representing your nation, you're selfish sociopath.
And that was the part right there. When I wrote on Twitter, if y'all follow me on Twitter, I said in that moment, it sounded like to me like Charlie Kirk wanted to call her the N-word or a B. He couldn't even get selfish outright. He said selfless, which in all actuality, she was being selfless, and then reversed it to selfish. And by the way, I actually learned some more information after the video that I had posted yesterday from one of my subscribers. I can't think of their name right now. I don't know if they'll see this or not, but if they are watching, shout out to you. It turns out that Simone Biles has been suffering with ADHD since she was a child. So she was on Ritalin, like she took medication. Now, when she went to Rio back in 2016, they allowed her to have her medication, her meds with her there while she was performing. Even when she went to the world championships, she was allowed to have it. But in Japan, it's banned. That kind of meds, those kind of meds are banned in Japan. So she was not able to have them, or nor was she able to take them, or to to help her focus. So imagine a person who's suffering from ADHD has a panic attack or an anxiety attack while they are on a balance beam like that. She could have fell and broke something, and that could have ended her career, or worse. She could have probably fell and maybe busted her neck and could have died. And if you look at how she was performing, you could tell she was not all the way there. She was not landing, she was not sticking her landings. She was stumbling a lot. Like she wasn't at her best. So that's why she decided to bow out of the competition, because she knew that she was going to injure herself and bring down the team. That's called being selfless, Charlie Kirk. And the team ended up getting silver. And then by her stepping out and not doing the all around individual, that young lady's son, what's her name? Sunsi Lee. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her name. The little Asian girl. Um, Her name is Sunsi Lee. I think her name is Sunsisa Lee. I think that's her name. I'm sure somebody is gonna correct me in the chat. We only a minute and 12 seconds into this commentary. He hasn't even gotten to his most ridiculous part of what he's about to say.
You kidding me? Today it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do something stupid and get hurt. It's just not worth it. Especially when you have like three amazing athletes that can step up to the plate and do it. So you know who has the gold medal? Russia. Russia. I have to go look at these 4'11" Russian Olympians chewing on their gold medals, smirking at the Americans. I'm not okay with that.
Now listen to that. You know who has a gold medal? Russia. This fool literally took this situation and made it into a political argument. How does one do that? And by the way, did Russia get a gold medal? Can someone let me know? Because I haven't been keeping up. I have not watched one Olympic event. Did Russia win a gold medal? Oh, I forgot. Russia is not even competing, you dumbass. Remember, I did a video talking about Russia and the doping thing, that the whole team got suspended. So they're not really competing under the Russian banner. They're competing under some other alternate name or something like that. Something to that effect. Yeah, no, King, I heard about that. I got a video about that coming too. That's another one in the backed up files. Like I told you, I recorded a lot of videos this week. That was one of them. But can someone tell me, did Russia win a gold? Well, I'm sorry, the alternate version of Russia. Did they win a gold medal? Because if not, he's loud and wrong. He's loud and wrong anyway, because Russia as a team, they weren't even allowed to compete. The Russian, thank you, Savart B, the Russian Olympic Committee. I knew the initials was ROC, but I couldn't think of the full name. So they're not really competing under Russia. They're competing under a committee. But he made it political. And so what if they won? Who cares? Because I know US got silver, but I never knew who got gold.
But honestly, that's where we're headed. We are raising a generation of weak people like Simone Biles. Again, if you want to be If she got all these mental health problems, don't show up.
Now, here's the thing. He said, we are raising a nation of weak people like Simone Biles. In this moment, he literally called this woman weak. Let's not forget that at one point, this lady, this young woman, was competing with broken toes, and at another point, competing with kidney stones, and still won and still placed first both times. I don't know in what world, in what definition that would be considered as weak. That's why I said they did win. Okay. Oh, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, none of the stuff that Charlie Kirk said made any type of sense, and that's exactly why people was going in on him. But he actually took this moment and made it a political one. When it came to when he mentioned Russia. So this guy has a personal issue with Russia, and it's her fault. Now, see, this is where Simone was in a double-edged sword where she could not win. It was either A, stay and compete at your weakest and lose and have people blast you for saying, oh, you should not have competed, or B, do what she did and bow out and have people do what they're doing right now. She had no way of winning this it was a stalemate. She had no way of winning. She was stuck in the middle of slings and arrows that were all coming in her direction. And like I said in my commentary last night, I knew that was going to happen.
She's an incredible athlete. Of course, she's an incredible athlete. I'm not saying, I just said she's probably the greatest gymnast of all time. She's also.
He says she's probably the greatest gymnast of all time. No, dumbass. She is the greatest gymnast of all time. Get that shit correct. She's the most decorated gymnast of all time.
Very selfish. She's immature, and she is a shame to the country.
There it is. She's selfish, she's immature, and a shame to the nation. No, Charlie Kirk, you're ashamed because you don't even know the definition of a sociopath. Because what you're trying to describe here is not a sociopath. But I think you might be one. I think you might be a sociopath. That's exactly what I put on my Twitter account the other day. I said I could not be in the US military because look at how they treat their vets. You have more of them on the street than in a home. And then some of them don't even, they get treated badly in the VA. Some of them, when it comes to their VA checks, they don't get all of it or none of it. You have these patriotic people like this Charlie Kirk, who probably hasn't been to a VA in probably ever, who claims to be so patriotic, or as I call him, patriotic. And he probably thinks he is because he got a damn hat that has the American flag on the front of it. That's probably as American as he's going to be. People like Charlie Kirk are some of the fakest people on the planet.
She's totally a sociopath. Of course she's a sociopath. Andrew said she's not a sociopath. What kind of person skips the gold medal match?
She didn't skip. Okay.
Does that? It's a shame to the nation. You just gave a gift to the Russians. Don't show up. If you're not ready for the big time, we got thousands of young female gymnasts that would love to take the place. Thousands.
But here's the thing, though, Charlie Kirk, even if she didn't show up, the U.S. team probably would have still got the damn silver. I mean, look, she was there and she didn't even perform with the team and they got silver. So if she didn't go, they probably would have still got silver. Then y'all would have still been mad and saying, why didn't she go? This is why I refuse to do circus acts bouncing a ball on my nose like a goddamn seal for these cloud-colored parademons. This is the only time they like to accept us as quote-unquote Americans is when we're doing them a goddamn favor. But the minute we decide to step away, this is the vitriol that we receive. 007 and Light Vision says China is in the lead now. Oh, hey. And like I said in my video last night, Team USA is a bust this year in a few things. When it comes, gymnastics, the basketball, um, uh, probably track, because I think the track events, like the outdoor events, that's going to be next week. Oh well.
Simone Biles just showed the rest of the nation that when things get tough, you shatter into a million pieces. You know what? There's a lot of times that you step up to the plate, even though you don't want to do it, even though that it's against everything in your body. But instead, Simone Biles just broke one of the great American values and virtues, courage and bravery. It was all about herself. She's a disgrace.
Oh, Charlie Kirk, shut the fuck up, you little semen-stained bitch. Look at his likes and dislikes, and I made sure I added one. 5,400 plus likes and 5,100 plus dislikes, and I expect these to increase and surpass these as the days go on. But yeah, Charlie Kirk is a piece of shit. Him and a whole lot of others who think like him. But you know what? I don't even think she's really even paying attention to this, because a lot of the stuff that I've seen her put on social media is about her thanking the people that are supporting her. So it doesn't sound like she's really paying attention to any of the outside noise, like a Charlie Kirk and others. I bet Charlie Kirk can't even do a damn cartwheel. He probably can't even do a tumble. A lot of the people that got something to say probably can't even do 10 burpees without losing their breath. And I bet you if a draft came up, Charlie Kirk would be the first one to tuck his tail and hide and pull a 45, or what's his name? The one who shitted on himself. I forgot his name. But anyway, let me move on to the next part. And I don't have to share my screen for that. I'm going to just go ahead and speak from here. The next two things anyway. Let me talk about this whole, because the thing about it is that these two can actually be kind of connected. I'm trying to think, which one should I start with? I'll start with Ed Buck. So everybody is aware about what happened with Ed Buck. He a few days ago, he was found guilty on all 9 of the charges that he was facing. All of them were pretty much drug-related charges. None of them had murder charges involved or attached to him, as far as the 2 people that were found dead in his apartment. And I'm not surprised by that. But I think it's safe to say that even with the charges that he has, he's probably going to go to jail for a very long time and most likely will die in prison. And I am perfectly okay with that. I think many of us, or all of us who have been following the story, are fine and okay with it. One of the most disturbing things I heard about that case, and this is going to be a little bit graphic, and I know some of y'all are going to be like, ew. And trust me, I said the same thing when I heard it too. One of the things that I heard that came out of that case, and it was a lot that came out of it too, when they had to talk about it in the court proceedings, was when the victims were unconscious because he supplied them drugs, like some hardcore drugs too. When they were unconscious, he would go over to them and thank you, Savart B. Ted Nugent. That's who it was, Ted Nugent. I couldn't think. I was about to say Newt Gingrich, but I knew it was one of the people that had a name that sounded like shit. But he would go over to them while they were unconscious, and he would jack them off until they came. Which means he did this while they were unconscious but still alive. That shit, when I read that, I was like, this guy is beyond sick. Beyond sick. But his case did not trend on Twitter as it should have trended, like they did with Bill Cosby. It was not in any mainstream news outlets. Hell, they talked about Harvey Weinstein more than they talked about Adhd. So that should tell you something. Um, they didn't talk about it. If it wasn't for this person on Twitter whose name is Jasmine, I can't think of her last name, but I know it begins with a C. She literally was following this case from beginning to end. I think she actually was there. She actually did what Nicole did with Bill Cosby, and she did it with this one. And she was there, and she was pretty much our eyes and ears and messenger for this entire case. So shout out to Jasmine. I'm gonna say Jasmine C. And she basically came back and gave us all the information and whatnot and things of that nature. But that was, and like I said, that was just one piece of graphic information that I saw them put out there. There's so much more that then people had to hear. And imagine being the family members of the two victims in that courtroom and having to listen to the stuff that he did to their loved ones before they died. And see, Lexi said in the chat, that's actually one of the lesser things that he did. And like I said, that was graphic enough. Because all they wanted to talk about for the longest was him drugging them. But there was other things that he did as well. Like they said that he would make them he would call them the N-word. And mind you, these two guys that they found, they were both homeless. They had nowhere to go. They had no money. So Ed Buck pretty much took them in, probably gave them stuff and gave them stuff, if you know what I mean. They called them party and play encounters. That's what they called them. He had a drug den. He distributed methamphetamine. They said his two convictions for supplying the meth that resulted in death each carry a minimum sentence of 20 years. So that's like 40 years in total. And he's currently 66. So if he was to survive this, he would be 106 when he got out of jail. Don't get ahead of me, JB Funhouse, because this is going to connect to the next story. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if I could find any more information because I'm scrolling through this one article. I really can't find anything else, and maybe that's a good thing that I can't because it's that gruesome. Craig said, I hope he gets the Dahmer justice. We shall see what happens with that. But anyway, the reason why I decided to start with Egg Buck first is because this is going to segue into the next topic. And that is the whole Lil Nas X, the baby situation. Man, that thing literally took the internet by storm this week. Like you there I don't think there was anywhere you could go and not hear about that. And I have to give a huge shout out to Nicole's View because she had to deal with pure raw unadulterated hell on Twitter when she put out a tweet about Lil Nas X and that perverted ass video he did called Industry Baby. I'm sure many of you already heard about it. I don't have to go into the details. And she put out a tweet talking about she felt that Lil Nas X was an industry plant. You know, this is a gimmick and all these other stuff. And her tweet went viral, and all I feel like damn that every inch of the academy came down on her head with all kinds of glitter bombs and scepters and tiaras and Cinderella glass slippers and the whole nine. To the point where she had to turn off her retweet feature just so she would not get trolled. She said in her DM she got called all kinds of names. They called her homophobic. They called her the B word and all types. Because she did a live stream the other day and she was talking about it. But you know, we had it back and we did the best that we could to fend them off and everything like that. These came in, them people came in like locusts. But that's basically what she had said, and they got mad. And I think the tweet got so far as I think it actually reached him, and he subliminally tweeted her. And then she ended up on this Academy ran blog site where they were talking shit about her too, but in subliminals without mentioning her name. But you could tell they were talking about her. But they all came down on her heavy. Of course, that's how it was. Until no, let me not get ahead of myself. But people saying like, what like really is he known for and everything like that? I mean, sure he had Old Town Road, but that was just one song, and then he does these little gimmicks. I wonder what. I wonder how many tickets he would sell for a concert. Something tells me he couldn't even sell out a concert. Like he actually went on and said that he would like to perform that damn Industry Baby song as he did in the video. And we know in the video all of them had no clothes on. They just blurred out the private parts. That's basically what they did. But all of them had smoke for her, but none of them mentioned anything about Ed Buck. As a matter of fact, what I did was I went on YouTube and I typed Ed Buck's name into the search bar and scrolled down and scrolled down and scrolled down. I didn't see any kind of blog or celebrity type gossip page or channel mention anything about this man. All the stuff they said about Ed Buck came from news sites, like local news mainly. Not even like big news corporations like CNN or MSNBC. I know Fox News wouldn't talk about it. I'm surprised they wouldn't, considering they are pro right wing, but they didn't even talk about it. But it came from more from like local news networks. You didn't see any kind of gossip sites, nothing from the Shade Room or what's them other ones, Media Takeout or those pages and channels like that. Nothing. And like I said, Nicole was getting all the slings and arrows until an event happened in Florida called Rolling Loud, in which the baby went ahead and was performing. And he basically cut the music and was saying, put your lighters in the air if you are a man and you did not get head from another man in the parking lot, or something to that effect. Then he mentioned the one about, if you didn't have HIV or AIDS, put your lighters in the air. And then that's when they got all mad and then their feelings all over again. And I mean, I said, Nicole, I said, to be honest, You might you might have gotten it light compared to what he got. And man, did they not waste any time to go in on him and quote unquote cancel him. I put on my Twitter account, I said any group of people or any organization that can cancel a group of people or an organization or someone or almost do it can no longer deem themselves as an unprotected group. At that point, now you have power. You have influence. I don't care how small your group may be. You have some kind of power, leverage, and influence to do that. Because I think one company did cut their endorsement ties with him. But I'm going somewhere with this with the hypocrisy when it comes to him. Well, to the people that's doing the canceling. But they got so mad. You even had Elton John, out of all people who I've never seen on social media, come out and say something about what he said. And then the baby got onto social media and he made a video. It looked like an apology, but when you listen to it, it really wasn't an apology. Because not once did I hear him say he was sorry. It wasn't really an apology. Not even subliminally was it even an apology. Like you have to really listen to what he said or try to listen to what he said because some of it's a little incoherent. But I said all of that to say this. They had all this smoke for Nicole for what she said about Lil Nas X. They had all this smoke for the baby for what he said, but they had nothing to say about Adhd. And when you will confront them about that, they'll mention it just a little bit and then go right back into the quote unquote canceling. I said y'all should have been very outraged about what Adhd did because two, not one, but two black gay men died on his watch, in his house, in his home. There was even a story that came out in California where this doctor went in on his academy neighbors, threatening to shoot them in the face. That story didn't get any type of attention except for the one place that I did see it. Now, what's funny is when it comes to the baby, they want to cancel him for what he said on that stage and whatnot. But everybody knows that he has been saying very controversial lyrics for a long time, not so much directed to the academy, but to other black people. And these corporations and everything like that, they didn't want to cancel him or drop him from being a sponsor and every time and things like that until he says this. So it's interesting to me that when he's talking about quote unquote shooting other black people or everything like that in his songs and his lyrics, that's fine. But you draw the line in the sand when he talks about HIV and AIDS and giving head and a man giving another man head in the parking lot. That's where you draw the line. They told on themselves. And it's crazy because a lot of the people that's doing the canceling of him are going to continue supporting the same corporations that was at one point endorsing him. That's why I cannot take them seriously. I can't. And I won't. Basically, what is sticking out to me is that they are people cancel whatever the media tells them to cancel. And they, like sheep and robots, do it. Interesting, Gary James called them Broadway Lights Mafia. Won't go near that doctor. Of course they don't. They probably don't even know that story exists. And oh, by the way, that doctor who did that, he's white. Oh, surprise, surprise. Just like Adhd, is white. Surprise, surprise. But the baby, black. No surprise there. And what the baby said wasn't even homophobic. Like, what the freak? It was not. It just wasn't. They just needed something to be mad at. All right, y'all. I have dropped the link in the chat. If you would like to come up and talk, you can. His name is to Jerome, his name is Dr. Alex Kadavi. That's his name. If anybody would like to come up and be a part of the stream, now is the time to do so. What's going on?
Hey, you pretty much hit it on the head with those three topics. Have you heard about the one the NFL is going to do starting football season? They're going to change the national anthem to a black one.
I did a video on it. I
Dang,
did a video on it, I think last week.
I have to catch up on that. I was doing so many things. But the Simone Biles backing out of the competition only proves that Colin Kaepernick's legacy still lingers on.
Mm-hmm.
Athletes suddenly protesting and realizing that you don't need to put
Your audio is kind of low.
oh.
No, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes to show that no matter what guidelines you try to give athletes during like this time, say the Olympics, we're still gonna protest in a unique way. And Simone Biles, hey, this could be a symbol for her comeback. Don't forget it could be her comeback year.
Right.
And salute to the baby. I mean, I never listened to his music, but the stance he took, despite the swarm, he's still standing firm.
Mm-hmm.
And Lil Bootsy, he's kind of the unsung hero in all this too, because he's been speaking out against the agenda.
Yeah, because he was having some issues with Instagram. He had reached out to the CEO of Instagram or something with involving Instagram, and he was hold on. All right. If y'all first, well, let me just say this: if y'all are coming on, y'all need to make sure that y'all that the volume is muted on your end if you're listening in, because the feedback is crazy. That's why I keep muting you. But yeah, when it came to Lil Boosie, he was having like a issue with Instagram or something like that, And he said some things in the past that a lot of people didn't even agree with. And T.I., he came out and said something, the minute he says something, then everybody's ready to pile in on him because of everything he's going through right now with him and his wife and those allegations of, having a sex cult or something like that.
T.I. and Tiny, whoever's after them, they need to wait. Let me start over. They should not be going after T.I. and Tiny the way they are when you have these secret organizations. I believe you did a story about this white woman that was part of a sex cult and how they went quiet with that story.
Allison Mack.
Yep. Why aren't they going after, people like that? And there's more of them than, say, a T.I. and Tiny allegedly having a sex cult.
Good question. Like I said, like Allison Mack, and Keith Raniere in that NXIVM cult, they're white, and that was a mainly a white ran cult, just like those parents was able to skate on by with the college admission scandal that happened back in 2019. And I told people after they got Lori Loughlin and her husband, they wasn't going to talk about it anymore. And here we are, July 2021, and we haven't heard them talk about that since she decided to finally say, I'm not guilty. That's what they were waiting on. And when they got that, they stopped talking about it altogether.
Well, anyway, it's just like this summer has been something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the only thing I'm looking forward to is two things. One, the Respect movie coming out, and I may check out the Candyman reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And Tariq getting his completed first phase funding for the museum. I'm telling you right now, we need it now more than ever because all the museums we had that are Black, if they do talk about what the grassroots do talk about, it's off in another wing of another building by itself. Like I went to DC. Yes, we have the African American History Museum, but there was there was a museum, I think like a block away from it called the Civil War Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And the Black soldiers that they displayed on it didn't necessarily have a complete wing of that particular room that they were in. It was like almost a quarter of the room for the contributions the Black soldiers had made during the Civil War, which is much bigger. As a matter of fact, I don't know if y'all probably know, but this is just a reminder that the Union didn't start winning until they started drafting Black folks into the fight. Because the Confederacy was giving the Unions that work. When they enlisted Black folks, that was when they started winning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this Hidden History Museum is a must. I contributed already. I'm going to contribute again. I hope everyone listening and in the chat will do the same.
I hope so too. Because I was on his live last night, and he had mentioned something about he was talking about Crenshaw and how they were doing some development over there, and how it was a Black organization that put up a higher bid to get that area, but then a white organization came in with a lower bid and they gave it to the white organization. So that shows you right there. And he said it in his stream. He said it's not about money, it's about control. So basically, if you are Black and you have all the money in the world, they'll still give it to another white person because at the end of the day, they don't want you to own shit, even if you have more money than they do. So that's really all it boils down to. And Richard Spencer said it a couple years ago. He said it's not about being fair, it's about winning. and that was and as much as as much as I loathe that man, he was 100% correct in his assessment. But I'm gonna let some other people jump in, to give their piece. Let me see. I'm gonna do it in the order that they came up.
All right, I'll continue to listen to the rest of it. Thanks for the time.
Okay. I think Batman, you was next, and I saw you had just turned your camera, but you had turned it back off though. I don't know if he can hear me though. Oops,
Hear
my
me?
bad. Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. How you doing, Torian, man? First off, I would like to say, man, I'm so glad I met you, Sijihito, and this side of Black YouTube because I was lost in the sauce and all of this years ago. Like, let me tell you how bad I was. I was on the before then, I was on the damn, I hate to say it, but I was on that damn All Lives Matter shit, but that was like 12 years ago. That was
Mm-hmm.
before all of this. But before I met y'all, and y'all opened my eyes up to a lot of stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. So the whole Simone Biles thing, it kills me, man. It just kills me. Like, I was saying this the other day, and I might have some people disagreeing with me. It's crazy how, like, when we talk about, I don't even know if I can say his name. I'm gonna just say KS. It's a shame when
Mm-hmm.
like the subject of KS gets brought up. Women, some women, they start to holler and whine and stuff like this. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I start seeing like people like Shakara Richardson or on Simone Biles, even when Simone was just like, hey, I'm trying to get myself together so I won't break my leg and be out or, cause injury to herself, then some of these and some of us are just sitting here still just coming at this girl. And it's just like, what is y'all true angle?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand, like, okay, from the whole Shakara Richardson thing, okay, I understand, okay, yeah, the weed smoke, and it really it shouldn't have been a big story. It should have been, well, I know, like, she's number one and stuff, and she failed the drug test. I was like, okay, we could have moved on from there, but it just kept going, and I'm just like, there are more things to talk about, like you was talking about Allison Mack. No one's not even bringing that up. But we can
Right.
talk about as the Bill Cosby, and me and my so-called friend, we got into it because she posted free. We said free Britney and not Bill Cosby. Now you got Britney out here taking topless titty pics. So I'm sitting here like, who you like? What you really trying to say? But listening to y'all made me see that, yeah, some of us ain't gonna make it. Clearly.
You're right about that. It's unfortunate, but that's just.
But
I mean, I just chalk it up to being off cold behavior at the end of the
it's
day.
it just makes no sense. It really makes no sense. It's like, and another thing you do that I really appreciate whenever you do your oh my man, I can't even think of the name of it. Whenever you talk about our young ones like
Mm-hmm.
accomplishing big stuff, because I love stories like that. Because being on this set of YouTube is murder, kill, racism, but when you bring your excellence, that's what it's called.
Melanated
Uh,
excellence.
yes, whenever I hear that, man, it just gives me hope for these kids, man. Like, they need to be uplifted because, like, once we start uplifting them, then they can pretty much, whenever they grow older, uplift their generation, and it goes on
Exactly.
and on and on. But I really appreciate that you do that, Torian. I really do.
I'm glad that you are tuned in and to listen, to the information, and that you um that it resonates with you.
Yeah. Oh man. And like I said, because we taking care of two, like, right now, that's not even family, but and we got a family full of females, and I try to be around them, teach them this, teach them that, much as I can. But I'm not gonna hold you up because, like I said, I'm still at work. So man, it's been good talking to you, family. It's been good talking with y'all. I'ma still listen while I'm at work though. But you take it easy, Torian, man. Keep up the good work, my guy.
You too.
No problem.
All right, so the next person up is 007 Spidey 2. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Torian, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. I'm feeling good. Hey, real quick, chat. I want everybody to send their flowers in spirit to the Milwaukee Bucks. We won it this year, man. We won it. We're big champs, world champs at
Congratulations.
that. Yeah, I just had
Congratulations.
to put.
It's definitely well deserving. You know what's so crazy? Now I finally know how to say Giannis's whole name. I could never pronounce it. I said
Yeah,
they won. Okay, I said okay, they won the championship. I said my goal by the end of the day is to learn how to say this man's last name. Because I could not pronounce his name for anything, but now I know how to pronounce it. I had to say it a few times just to make sure that it sat with me so I wouldn't forget it.
yeah, exactly. And what made it so funny was like the very next day he literally stopped at the Chick-fil-A in one of the
I
surrounding
saw that video.
suburbs in the surrounding suburbs, not too far from where I was at. I was like, damn, I could have met him. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that video. He went to the Chick-fil-A. I think it was him. Is that his wife?
No, he's not
The
married,
woman?
but
Oh,
he's
okay.
not married.
Okay.
But he does
But him and the
have
woman,
a girl. He does have a girlfriend. He does.
was that the girlfriend that was driving the truck?
It probably was. I saw a little bit of his live. I saw like maybe the first few minutes of his live, but then I got off because I had other affairs to tend to. But yeah,
Oh, okay, because I know it was another woman that was driving the truck, but he was in there. He had ordered some food from the Chick-fil-A, and he was driving around with the trophy, and people was out there taking pictures. They were chased. They literally was chasing the truck down as they were driving out of the parking lot. So I definitely commend him for winning the championship. That's his first one, and he's MVP, and he's definitely going to go. He's going to have, I hope, many more years
yeah,
and many more rings
exactly,
to collect.
exactly. But you can't only give it to him though. He had some help. You gotta give credit to Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and my man Bobby Portis. They did their part. They did their part as well. So let's not only give all the credit to Giannis.
Okay, fair enough.
I just had to throw that out there, man. Um, yeah. So as I said before, Respect is going to be out in like literally 2 weeks. I'm so amped to see that movie.
I am too.
And I really want to see what Marlon Wayans is going to do in his performance, because usually when we see him, he's always playing like these over the top goofy characters. Like literally, pretty much most of what he does is like joke, 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 joke. Now we get to see him in like one of his very few dramatic performances. I want to, as Ted White, I think her first husband's name was. I want to see how he pulls that off. So his performance besides J Hood is definitely one that I'm most anticipated to see. I want to see how he pulls that off.
A lot of people don't remember when he played in that movie A Requiem for a Dream, which was like back in the early 2000s, and that was like
Yeah,
one of
I think
his
it came
first,
out
if
right in
not first,
2000.
serious role. Yeah, it came out right in 2000. That was like
Yeah,
his first like serious role. And when I saw, that's one of the movies that I could only watch one time. That was a heavy loaded movie. And he like literally shocked me with his performance in that movie, because it wasn't him playing the goofy character, because he was coming fresh off of doing the Wayans Brothers show. He just got, it came out the same year as the first Scary Movie. So we always was used to seeing him be funny. So for him to do a role like
exactly.
that, and that was a and the subject matter of that movie was just crazy. It was, and I'll put it like this: a movie for that time would be considered risky, but today it would be like, oh, okay. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing him play a more serious role with this and see, because I always say that a lot of people who do comedy tend to have a lot of range. A lot of people don't give them credit for it because we're always looking to them to be funny or make us laugh. But
Exactly.
there are times when they know when they can scale it back, and this right here is going to show their true acting to see if they actually have the range to do it, or should they be stuck in a box where they're always being funny or making people laugh. But I think he's definitely going to pull it off though, because he's acting alongside Jennifer Hudson, so they're going to kind of bounce off of each other. And we've seen the type of acting that she can do, and I think that the chemistry is definitely going to be there.
Exactly. And speaking of Requiem for a Dream, and speaking of Batman, actually, the director Darren Aronofsky, he was actually supposed to direct. He was actually supposed to direct 2005's Batman Begins originally. Oh my God! Seeing how crazy that movie was, by the few clips that I've seen, man, I'm curious to see what that Batman movie would have looked like that he would have made and directed.
Right. That would have been interesting because he also did that movie Black Swan as well.
Uh-huh.
And I talked about that in my video yesterday. So I can see when I found out that he did that and he did Requiem for a Dream, I said, oh, he definitely has a type of movie, that's a directing style that he goes for. And I can see it in both of those movies. Like, how you have directors and you can always tell who the director is before you find out who the director is based on how the movie is shot. Just like when Spike Lee does a movie, he does a certain type of shooting style that that it's his movie.
Yep. Oh, and let's not forget, Marlon Wayans actually played Ripcord in the first G.I. Joe movie, I believe, that came out like 12 years ago. I want to say he wasn't too annoying in that movie. Personally, that movie, in my personal, and this is just my personal opinion, that's just a guilty pleasure of mine. Just a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest. The only reason I watched that G.I. Joe was because of Snake Eyes, but I did hear the Snake Eyes wasn't that good. Like the one that just came out, like I didn't really hear anything good about it. So I wasn't really hyped to see it anyway, and it's a shame because I actually like the Snake Eyes character, and I think just about everybody does when they think of G.I. Joe. That's one of the first characters they think of. But they just said the movie wasn't that good, so. It is what I didn't have any high expectations for it anyway. Maybe I'll watch it when it goes to streaming, and that'll be that.
To be honest, Black Widow was okay, but the movie I'm looking forward to, they still haven't dropped the trailer for it. I guess they're not ready. Is of course Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, come on, just drop it already. But I guess they're not ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were looking for the trailer for that after the last episode of Loki, considering how that show ended, well, this season ended, and like people are waiting for that trailer. But I said they probably won't drop that trailer maybe for like another month, especially since it's coming. Well, yeah, that and because they dropped the Shang-Chi one, they dropped the Eternals teaser one. And then I just found out that Hawkeye's going to be coming out the week of Thanksgiving, so that's going to end, and then Spider-Man No Way Home is going to come out right after that.
Yep. But yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna let I'm just gonna let Gnome King get in on the conversation. I'll still be here.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, Gnome King, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yo.
What's going on?
What's happening, TR, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I hate to even like move backwards because you already talked about it for a good bit, but I never fucking heard of that Kirk dude, talking trash about Simone Biles, man. That burnt me to the bone. Like they just absolutely hate to give us credit that we deserve, you know what I'm saying? Like you see it all the time because I done seen you cover videos before. I think it was one. It was a panel of people talking, and you had a sister on there with a PhD, and then a white guy was in there. I don't know what kind of position it was he had, but you know, the sister he started talking to her. She was like, "No, just you refer to me as doctor. I got a
Oh yeah.
PhD," and he like kept calling her by. I think that was on your channel. I don't
I don't think
remember,
that was.
but
I don't think
that's
I
just I
talked about it on my channel, but I am familiar with the story. But I did recently do one about Deion Sanders and the white reporter that just kept referring to him as Deion instead of Coach.
Mhm. Yeah, and Dion Dion got the credentials of an established, you know what I'm saying, and being in the position that he played, which is one that I played before. Being a defensive back is not easy, and Deion
Mm-hmm.
Sanders is one of the best in history, hands down. You know what I'm saying? That's when I first started playing. They had me a cornerback. I think Deion was a safety, but I played both. I've been all around the backfield. Like being a defensive back is hard. Like you got to know how to cover. You got to know how to read defenses. You got to know how to watch the quarterback. You can't get. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole lot that you got to take on responsibility wise at that position once the ball snaps. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
for him to do it that long, play at that level, and then retire, and not only retire after 2 or 3 Super Bowls, 6 or 7 Pro Bowls, after what I'm saying, being a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Like, give that man his props, especially if he done after he accomplished all of this stuff. He actually took the time to go to school and get certified as a coach, and then actually got a reputable team. You know what I'm saying? Salute Jackson State. You know, you give that man if he prefer that title. It's a formal interview. Both of them was dressed up in what it appeared. Deion had a nice suit on, and the white guy had his the shirt tie. So
Mm-hmm.
if we speaking in formalities, call me by my title. If I say call me coach, you call me coach. And I like how Deion Sanders he brought up Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to college coaches, he one of the most respected of the white guys. You know what I'm saying? He been there, Alabama, got them. I don't know how many championships, but yeah, Deion like you're not gonna talk to Nick Saban like that. You don't call
Exactly.
Nick. You know you gonna out. Yeah, like, and I knew Deion wasn't lying. I knew Deion wasn't lying about that because I done heard those stories from years and years ago. You know what I'm saying? Cause me and you in our 30s now. You know what I'm saying? I graduated in '08, but when I was thinking about trying to go to college, you know what I'm saying, and try to get ball, I ain't never really think about Alabama, but you hear shit that go on at the other schools. And people talked about how Nick Saban was like you had to have that formality with him, especially if it was a new person. Like you just got there, you redshirted, or if you just a media person like that guy was. He wasn't even from no established network. Like I could see if Primetime was talking to a Stephen A. Smith, or if he was talking to Michael Strahan, one of them cats could probably call him Dion and it'd be cool. But the white boy, I don't know you. You not from no
Mm-hmm.
main network. You from one of them little back channel joints, man. Like I don't need this interview with you. That's why I love Dion. Just he kept the smile on his face, but he got up and just left. Like I love that. You know what I'm saying? And the
Right.
other video I was speaking about with the sister, I wish that she would have done that. She corrected him, but you know what I'm saying? She couldn't just leave the panel because she was speaking to the other people too. But it's not just that sister with the PhD. It's not just Dion. It's not just not wanting to credit Simone Biles. Like you see that kind of all the time with them. But when it's what I'm saying, when it's the other way around, they expect that automatic. Even when you know for a fact that they a person that didn't fucking earn the title they have. Cause that's some shit I seen in the military. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One guy, I walked by him one morning, going to formation, and I seen him walking with another cat that I ain't really like. So I just spoke to him. He's like, "Hey, Aren't you gonna put a corporal in front of that? I'm like, no, fuck out of here, bro. You lucky I spoke to you at all. I ain't about to fucking call you an NCO. I should have had that rank months before you. You didn't do shit to get it, and you know you didn't, because everybody talking about it. Even some of the other white boys talking shit about you, saying you don't deserve that rank. No, I'm not about to be formal with you. But don't worry, I ain't
Yeah,
speaking to you no more. I'll flip you the first.
yeah, and they
My
also
bad.
also like they tried to make, when black people want to be addressed a certain way, like what a title and everything like that, they'll be quick to say that they're uppity or something like that, like the uppity Negro or something to that effect. No, it's a respect thing. Just like, if you have like if you got a doctorate degree, you want to be referred to as Dr. So and so. Unless like and if I had that title, unless I know you personally, you know me personally, or you're a family member or a friend or something like that, a real close friend at that, then refer to me by my title, especially in a professional setting. And at that point when they were having
That's
those that interview, it was a professional setting. So he should not have just called him no Dion like they were like on the street or something like that.
yeah,
Now, if you wanted to do that
like
outside of
they
that and
drinking
he allowed you to do
partners.
that, yeah, like if you wanted to do that outside of that and he allowed you to do that, then that's fine. But you were conducting an interview. You didn't just refer to this man as Dion. And like I said in the video, he didn't know this man. They did not know each other outside of this interview, did not know him outside of what Deion Sanders had accomplished as a football player and as a coach. And at that point, he wanted to be referred to as coach. And now everybody else had no problem calling him coach. But when it came to you, you had a problem with it and then thought it was funny. I think that was the more insulting part, was he laughed after Deion Sanders said, refer to me as coach or Mr. Sanders or whatever he wanted. He said, just don't call me Deion. So the fact that he laughed at him, that was an insult to this man's character.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing that make it lovely, because he was laughing, and Dion, you could tell he was pissed off, but he kept that smile on his face. You know that brother, I no homo, you know what I'm saying, pause, but Dion one of them brothers with $1 million smile. He got them big pearly whites like Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? He kept that smile on his face, got up out the chair and walked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was gangster. But that set the tone in the future for other people that's not from big networks. If you're just another media person and you want to talk to prime time, you want to talk to Deion Sanders, a 3-time Pro Bowler, you know what I'm saying, 2 or 3-time Super Bowl winner, Hall of Famer, put some respect on his name. Like he basically pulled a baby on that motherfucker, like Baby did on the Breakfast Club. He just didn't go off with it. He kept a smile on, and he just got up and left. But he did the same thing that Baby did on the pretty much. Like that's what made it funny. Well, I was loving that. Like that was pure entertainment. The only thing that made me, say I'm more proud than when I seen Deion get up and walk out on that Mazungu was, it's some video Phil had on his channel, not his main, like the African Diaspora channel, but the other one, his Philip Scott Show channel. He had in South Africa, man, like you had these white dudes show up to this farm and try to, try to intimidate the workers, the farmers. And one of them brought a whip out there, and one of the snatched the whip and gave it to one of his other partners. And brothers, he went straight Django on the dude. Like he was whipping their ass from the time they got out there up until they got in them trucks and pulled away. Like, yeah. I was in love with that, man. I love seeing shit like that. I love it. Like, and I'm happy it's happening more often. It need to. I got to hear 007, you know what I'm saying, on this, because I know it's about to be some comedy, man. Like, I got to hear I got to hear what he got to say, man. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Like, I'll send you that link, but brother got that whip. You heard it.
The one I remember was when it was I think it was the Chinese, and they had tried to do something like that, and the black workers who was there he had got in his face and he had pushed him or something like that. you could tell, and whenever they gotta come up in groups like that, because he came and approached him like by himself, and then when he saw he was gonna lose a fight that he didn't want to start or try to start, then that's when the rest of them tried to come up and I guess try to like jump him or something like that. I said that's real weak, but I didn't see the one with the
Oh,
whip.
I think I remember that one. I remember that one. That dude, he walked up. The foreman was out there giving. I knew exactly what they was doing before they was getting ready to start working. From my little bit of time in the trades, doing plumbing, especially when I got to working doing commercial plumbing. Like when you're doing plumbing, for like hospitals, churches, restaurants, and stuff like that. You basically doing construction work. You know what I'm saying? It's plumbing, but you wearing the hard hat. You got the neon shirts and vest on and all of that. You got safety glasses and gloves and boots. Like before you start working, 9 times out of 10, or before you leave the shop in the morning, you have a safety meeting pretty much, just like you saw the foreman. The guy had the stack of papers in his hand, speaking to the rest of them in the video that you're talking about. He was the foreman, basically conducting a safety meeting. You had the Asian dudes just walked up, slapped his notepad out his hand, and
Mm-hmm.
that's like you said. He walked himself, but when he seen the brother start talking shit to him, he seen the brother get mad. Then like 4 or 5 more of the Chinese dudes came up, and then he grabbed something. He picked something up and started trying to jab the brother with it. It looked like a javelin or something. Like he was trying to stab the
Yeah.
brother with it. It looked like a spear. And the
Mm-hmm.
dude you talking about, like, yeah, it was funny because it was a Chinese man. Now the Chinese man had to pick up a weapon. The brother ain't had no
Yep.
weapon, but the brother was down. He was kicking his ass like Jim Kelly all over that motherfucker, man. He was down. He did a jump, side winding, back spinning, fucking flip kick off that nigga shit, man. I remember that. I remember that video, bro. Like, yeah, that happened in South Africa, if memory served me right. And you know what? That's the same. There's a lot going on down there because the other video I was talking about, the brother with the whip, that happened in the same place, South Africa. Like, and it's good to see finally over. You know what I'm saying, over there. I know most of the brothers and sisters in the chat here in America probably not caring much about what go on over there, you know what I'm saying, because we not there. But when you start to see black people stand up as a collective, you know what I'm saying, on a global scale, because it's happening over there, it's happening here too. Because I remember a video you showed, it was a couple weeks ago. It looked like 3 teenagers or 3 people in like their early 20s. You had two, it was either 2 dudes and a girl or 2 girls and a boy. One girl that looked like a dude, another dude didn't have a pretty chick, but the cop showed up and I guess tried to take them in. They beat the shit out of him, like strangled him or
Mm-hmm.
something. You covered that. That's on. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
you know, when I seen that, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. Cause I'm getting tired of
That was
every damn
a
time you.
team effort.
Yeah, you know, it get on my nerve because every time you look, you see black people in the news with cops. It's either we getting tased with nothing, you know what I'm saying, no weapon on us. We getting shot with no weapon on us. We getting beat with no weapon on us. Not resisting. You know, you got somebody, one of them cops pulling a George Floyd, like you got somebody with a fucking knee and all their body weight on your neck. You know what I'm saying? You hearing a black person talking about I can't breathe. So like these little videos that's trickling out of the media slowly, and more of it's gonna keep happening. Cause I don't know if anybody in the chat heard about that brother Ozone, from that group, the NFAC. Like they kind of
Yeah.
look like the Panthers, but
Mm-hmm.
not the new Panthers. Like the way they roll, like the old Panthers. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a brother with that group they call Ozone. Yeah, Ozone went and got him one. Ozone got him one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and see it in that comment section. I'm like, this kind of shit, man. Like, it's about to keep happening. Like, you about to see more and more people start to get tired. People getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, people about to start fighting back.
Exactly.
Excuse me, but yeah, you've been hard at work. Like, I've been checking my
Yeah.
notifications. You've been your video output as of late has been on the up and up. Like,
Oh, trust and believe.
but I know it's probably
Trust
because
and
you're
believe.
getting so
It's
much
more.
news sent to you because so much shit happened everywhere. But it's like,
Yeah, this week in particular, like it was a lot of stuff that happened this week.
you
Like I had
you
said
you
at the
cranking
beginning
out
of the
them.
stream.
Yeah, like, you probably ain't even heard it. Like, down here in Wilmington, like in North Carolina, down it's done been like two shootings in two days. Like, one of the guys, this story, like, it'll make you scratch your head. Like, uh, you had a white guy runs a brewery. You know what I'm saying? And people can say what they want when it comes to certain Mzungus, but you got some of them that's off code. But when you hear about a Mzungu being off code, that's good for us, for black people. Cause when they off
Mhm.
code, that means they trying to help black people in some kind of way, or they trying to do something for us. Now this man runs a brewery called True Colors Brewery in Wilmington. Dude had somebody break in his house because one of his star employees there is like a high up gang member. Well, he was, because the brother dead now. Like, somebody
Mhm.
broke in a white dude house, big mansion now, in a nice neighborhood. Broke in the dude house, went right past him and killed the brother. You know what I'm saying? Killed the brother and tried to kill the chick that was there with him too. She got hit in the shoulder and she played dead. You know what I'm saying? With her arm hanging on by a little bit of flesh. You know what I'm saying? They shot her shit
Mhm.
wide open. I was like, man,
Wow.
I probably would have died in that situation because I don't believe I would have been able to keep silent through all the pain for them to let them walk by and get out the house. I would have been still screaming. They don't two more rounds in my ass. I'd have been dead. But that
Mhm.
sister was tough. She got hit in the shoulder, kept back, played dead until they got out the house. You know what I'm saying? And here we go yesterday. After I knew it was gonna be some more shit after that dude got killed. When they was like, yeah, he was a gang member, he's high up. This white guy running the brewery, all of his employees is felons. They all gang members. You know what I'm saying? And but I don't think it's necessarily beef with employees from his staff, but some of the other guys around town. But somebody put a hit on this dude, and it's been killing ever since. Like, a lady got shot and killed at random yesterday. You know what I'm saying? She don't even live in Wilmington. She was visiting her mom in the hospital sick. Her mom's in the hospital dying. She came to Wilmington to visit her mom, got killed. You know what I'm saying? Now her mom that's in the hospital on her deathbed got to hear about her daughter being gunned down in the street yesterday and left. They shot, killed her, and left. Like, ain't no telling how long she was laying out there waiting for help before somebody showed up. I'm gonna try to send you these links. It's not big news, so I don't know if you're probably gonna talk about it or not, but it's crazy. Like, I see laws coming down the pipe as far as more gun control with all of these shootings that's going on, because it's not just here in the Carolinas. You know what I'm saying? They talk about 4th of July weekend. I think like 30 some people in Chicago got shot. You know what I'm saying? They had some more shootings in Florida. Uh, Let me see, California, Kentucky, like all over the place, man. Like, and a lot of these states that I'm mentioning, you probably ain't hear about them because they ain't really. Well, shoot, you grassroots, so you already know they didn't hit the news. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
hearing about
Mhm.
them, but the TV the TV not talking about him. You know how it go.
Exactly. Is there anything else that you
But
wanted to talk about?
I stay.
Well, I didn't hear that last part.
It's because it's been so much, man. Like if I keep talking, like I'll probably down be here. Like, I know you do this for a certain amount of time and you try to get off. And I wanted to hear if
Yeah.
Below 7 had anything else to say, man. I like how that stream was last time we did, where it was just me, you, and him at the end, and because we pretty much talked a good while, and like
Right.
everybody was just driving home points when streams go like that. So I ain't want to do too much talking. I want to hear if he got something else to say, and you know what I'm saying. Let us hear you before we get ready to close it out.
I saw that he unmuted himself, so I don't know if
Spidey,
he's about to say anything.
Yeah. I'm here, guys. Yep.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I also wanted to bring up and of course, of course I know we're on your time, Torian, so I don't want to keep you for long, but I also wanted to go back to that whole, exchange between Judge Joe Brown and Lamoise Hill with his bitch ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That thing, he got on my damn nerves in that interview, bro. Mark Lamont Hill got on my nerves.
And have you ever noticed that, that Mark Lamont Hill, literally in every interview he does, that motherfucker like literally stutters, man. I mean, excuse my language, but that motherfucker literally stutters every time he does an interview. And I swear to God, I swear to God, every time I see him, he looks like, especially on the television, he looks like he's wearing motherfucking makeup. But that's your beta male, man. I mean, like, what kind of Tyler Perry shit is this, man? Golly.
Yeah, because I think
He
the reason why
definitely
he like always stutters is because he tries to it's the thing a lot of people do when they try to overtalk somebody or when they get overly excited about something they can't get their words out. So that's like a combination of both with his, but especially with him trying to overtalk people. And he's the type of person that likes to try to get the last word in. Like you can tell he's that type of person. And I know he just recently did, because if y'all heard, I was talking about when I was talking about Ed Buck, I was talking about a woman by the name of Jasmine, and I actually looked up the article. Her name is Jasmine Canick, and she's on Twitter, and she recently said that she was doing some kind of I guess an interview with Mark Lamont. I said Mark Lamont Hill, and about Ed Buck. I said he's actually going to have somebody on to talk about this. I said they must have really pulled his arm, because when I was looking through their BNC page, there was nothing.
It's not even black
and I mean,
owned.
absolutely nothing. It definitely isn't, because I think it's owned by an Arab. And when I looked through their videos, there was nothing on there about Ed Buck at all. Yet they had so many videos on there about Bill Cosby. Mainly, most of them coming from him.
Exactly. And exactly. And let me tell you something. This whole Cosby thing, you can thank a lot of people for kicking this shit off, but you can definitely thank Hannibal Buress, sorry ass. Where the fuck is Hannibal Buress with his unfunny ass now? We don't fucking know. Literally, every time I watch Spider-Man Homecoming, I fast forward through that
Hannibal
motherfucking
Buress, punk
scene.
ass. He sure was.
He got the
Yeah,
devil
he was the
snap.
first one to start talking shit Cosby.
You kind of breaking up, no? You kind of breaking up.
You sure? Oh my bad, yo. But yeah,
It might be a
Hannibal
delay. It
Buress
might
ain't
be a
been
delay on
seen
his end.
since the trial started.
Good. Maybe it's like a good thing that we
I
don't
think that's
see
what
him.
it is.
Yeah. And one person I gotta give credit to for continuing to do what he does is I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Well, you should have heard of him. Is Tom Mesereau. That man keeps on defending to this day both Cosby and Michael Jackson relentlessly, even though he doesn't have to. He keeps on still bringing up the good fight.
I'm familiar with him.
He keeps on he keeps on putting up the good fight when it comes to those two men. And the culture vulture, the detective, as you call him, he's actually did 2 interviews with Tom Mesereau. And where he basically breaks down all his cases. He even did a second interview with him where he broke down like the whole Cosby case.
Cool.
Yep.
You was definitely right though about Mark Lamont Hill wearing makeup. That nigga definitely be wearing eyeliner. Like it's obvious.
Oh yeah,
I'm dead serious, bro. He be having eyeliner on.
Yeah. One last thing. What do you think about this craziness going on between Scarlett Johansson and Disney, man? She like that's gotta be like one of the biggest high profile lawsuits that Disney has ever had, man. I wonder if that's gonna take if that's gonna actually take down the House of Mouse. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Well, the story behind it, based on what I've read, is that they said it was a breach of contract with her movie, because they released the movie theatrically and they released it on Disney Plus. And as you know, on Disney Plus,
Which I
they
thought was
get all
smart.
the profit. When they release it on Disney Plus, they get all the profit. A lot of people feel that by them releasing it on Disney Plus, that's why the box office numbers were not as great as they could have been. And I kind of agree, because they said that on Disney Plus, the movie made about like $60 million on Disney Plus alone, and the movie made theatrically in its opening weekend $80 million. But that money does not um, switch over, so it doesn't count, so to speak. And she was supposed to get like some bonuses, because they paid her $20 million flat out for just doing the part. But she was supposed to get like an additional, I think, 50 million or something like that. And apparently she did not get it because the movie did not perform the way it was supposed to in the box office. But that goes back to the Disney Plus, because they don't switch over. So if they didn't release it on Disney Plus, she definitely would have had her $50 million bonus, which she did not get. So they basically said it was a breach of contract. And of course, they're going to rely heavily on saying, because of the pandemic, that's what, led to it. But of course, when they shot this movie, this was pre-movie. So they didn't know that this was going to happen.
Yep.
So basically,
But
because they didn't know it was going to happen, it's not like it was in the contract saying, in case of some kind of disaster, we won't be able to pay you this money if it doesn't pan out. That's not there in the contract. And it was like, I don't care if it was a pandemic or if it wasn't, you're gonna have to pay me what you owe, because that's what it said in the contract. And you breached the contract by not paying me. But now they're saying, some things, they said Disney came back and they're going back at it. And I think, this could actually just end very quickly, instead of them trying to drag this out as far as they can, because now they have another situation on their hand. Because I don't know if you heard, the actress Emma Stone recently came out because she did that Cruella movie that got a theatrical release and on Disney Plus, and now she's saying something, and that came out back in May. So now she's saying something. So now I'm like, okay, if now she's coming out and Scarlett Johansson, came out first, these are 2 top earning female actresses that are saying some of the same things, and they're both coming out of Disney. I said, I don't know what you're going to do, but I said, you better hurry up and do something before a third one comes out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was wrong of them, but yeah, but as of them doing both, I thought that was smart on their part until I learned about all this, man. Because I don't know if you can remember one of our but I believe like the very first live stream I came on, I've said that these companies or these studios should do both theatrical and streaming, which HBO Max at the time was already doing, and now Disney is following suit. We just got to wait on the others to follow suit, or suit hopefully on the trend. because I definitely think that should
They said
that
this was going to be they said that this movie that The Rock is doing called Jungle Cruise was going to be the last one they do with the same day, same date release type of thing, where it's one in the movies and one and on streaming. They said that was going to be it. It was just a trial run, and they only did it with two. They only did it with a couple of movies. And I think after what happened with Black Widow, they said, "Nah, we ain't even going to run the risk of doing it with our other MCU films." So the rest of them are just going to have a flat out theatrical release, and let everything just play out like that. And I think that's probably the smartest thing to do because the, after now looking at this, I don't think they want another person coming out saying, "I'm going to sue you."
Yep. It's just all a big clusterfuck, man. That's
And also
Hollywood
they
for
said,
you.
that they're no longer doing long contracts. So how like Robert Downey Jr. got that long contract being Iron Man and stuff like that. They said they're not
Exactly.
doing that anymore. They said that you're going to get like a 1 or 2 movie deal, and that's it. If we have to come to negotiations and maybe draw up a new contract, then so be it. But we're not going to say, okay, we're going to sign you on to do this movie for the next 10 years. And this is how much money you're going to get paid. Like Robert Downey Jr. literally made like he had to make well over $100 million over the course of a decade playing Iron
I
Man,
know,
which
man.
is
I
probably
know
the
exactly.
which is probably the most money he's ever made in his entire career. So they said we're
Exactly.
not going to do those long contracts anymore because it's too much money that's coming out of the studios to give to just one person, and when we can spread that money out evenly. And I think that's another reason why they now doing the shows along with the movie, so they don't have to do those long contracts like that. So
Exactly.
when it comes to the shows, they don't have to pay them as much because it's not a huge giant scale like like a movie is. Even though those shows are shot in almost movie format for the most part, but they feel like they don't have to pay them as much. So they like, with whatever money we would have paid this one person, we can spread this out evenly to all the actors. Of course, the person who's the lead is going to get top billing. Of course, that's without a doubt. But we can spread the money out and not have to throw all of this money at one person like we did for the last 10 years. So I think that's actually smart for them to do, and it helps them save money, and they can use that money for budgeting
Do
for other films and movies.
do
Because it's
do
not
you
like they're
think
not
they?
going to make the.
Speaking of which,
Because it's
do
not
you
like
think
they're
they're
not
gonna
going to
bring?
make the money back.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you think they're gonna bring? Do you think and hopefully they do this, but do you think they're gonna try to renew them? I'm talking about, when I say them, I mean Disney and Sony are gonna try to make a new deal with Tom Holland to come back as Spider-Man, because after this movie, he's contractually not obligated to come back, I think.
Well, I think that all depends on how this movie is going to do, and I think the movie's going to do very well because now it's this phase that they're in is going to be a very interesting one. So I think it all depends on how the movie's going to do. I have a feeling the movie's going to do phenomenal. It's very interesting that they're releasing a movie like this in the winter months, but we know why that is because of what happened last year, threw everything off. But I think the movie's going to
Yeah,
definitely
that's
do
interesting.
well. The movie's definitely. I think the movie's definitely going to do um well financially because of the people that's going to be in it, that's going to be around him. I mean, he's already going to have a fan base on his own. He already has a fan base of his own, just him. But now you're talking about bringing in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back, which of course,
Which hasn't
we
been
grew up.
confirmed.
We huh
I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but we know it's coming.
Well, let's just hypothetically say that they do. That's going to be a huge draw, and like I said, they're bringing in a lot of people from the old Spider-Man films into this one.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a lot of nostalgia there. So people are going to come and see it based off of
Yeah,
that. And to see how they interact with each other. So you're talking about taking 3 different Spider-Men from 3 different universes and you're throwing them all into one movie. So that's going to be very interesting to see what they do. But we still haven't seen a trailer for it yet. So,
exactly.
and even when they do drop a trailer, we probably won't even see that much, which I will be perfectly fine with because I want to go in there not really knowing much of what's going to happen. So
Exactly.
it should be interesting.
Exactly. Like, it's all a mystery, man, because like you said, man, we don't know it. There's not really like a clear cut. There's like not really a clear cut villain as far as that goes, and we don't even have a clear cut synopsis of the movie yet, which is fine because, like you said, I want to go in there not knowing what happens. So, you know, I would be perfect with like I would just be totally fine if they just release like one trailer and be done with that because that'll even have me that will personally have me more excited. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think those are my last comments. So
okay,
yeah,
because I was getting ready to say
pleasure.
because I was getting ready to say because I was getting ready to say I was about to end the stream. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'm glad that
pleasure you have it.
Hold on. I got a question for both of y'all. I want to know: have y'all heard this shit about that nigga Young Pharaoh, man? Talking about I don't want to be black no more. Yeah.
No, I did not hear about
Did y'all
that.
hear that?
I heard about it.
Yeah, bro.
I heard his. I heard his.
Man.
His little rant. I don't. The guy, he needs help. Like I don't know what's going on in his head, but yeah, he needs some like serious help, or he needs to sit on somebody's couch. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. But a lot of
Yeah,
people peaked his game early on, but now people are saying they finally see it, and the people who already knew, they was like, I don't know why you're so surprised because we already knew how he was from jump. But some people a lot of people show you one side of them, and then the real them eventually emerges. And I guess that this is the real him right here. But I never really followed the dude though, so I can't really speak too much about him because I didn't follow him like that. I've always heard about him, but I never really followed him like that. So the people who are upset with him, I guess they have a righteous reason to be mad at him. But yeah.
But yeah,
The most
I like to thank both.
was when my bad. I was gonna
Yeah,
say like the
yeah. I just
most I
want
followed him was when go ahead. My bad. I'm lagging. Y'all go ahead,
yeah.
kill it, because I'll be talking all day. Y'all go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay, brother. I was just gonna say, it was a pleasure talking to both of you. It was, thanks a lot, Torian, for having me on your
Mm-hmm.
stream. I love these little panels that we have, and hopefully we can do it again next month. Take care.
Oh, all right. You have a good one.
Yeah,
All right.
for
No many
sure. It's
last
always
words.
fun talking with you. It's always fun talking with you, brother. And keep cranking out them videos, man. I see you've been putting in crazy grind because the like you've been cranking out content like crazy lately, man. Like you've been grinding for real, but keep at it, brother. I see your channel growing. You know what I'm saying? You taking off, man. Like
Appreciate it.
keep it going, bro. I love to see brothers shining, man. So just what I'm saying, I'll catch you hopefully again next month, like 007 said.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate both of y'all coming up. And shout out to everybody who was in the chat who came through. Shout out to everybody any new subscribers that I might have had or gained. This was definitely a great conversation. As you already know, we always have the Freestyle Friday on the last Friday of every single month, if less specified otherwise. I'll be back next Friday with the regular stream, just random topics that I find to talk about that I didn't cover on my main channel. And we'll be back at it tomorrow on the main channel. 3 video uploads, as y'all already know, 10, 2, and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, I'm going to hop off of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.